everybody, and welcome to another edition of Right About Now Presents the Virtual Slam Head-to-Head Edition. My name is Chibi, and I'm going to be your host for this evening, and I am joined by my very vocal co-host, Xochitl. We're just going to let that happen, all right? We're puppy sitting. Any hoozle. For those of you who have been here before, you know what's up. Light that comment section on fire. We want to see what is happening. Where are you joining us from? You know to use it. Show some love for the poets and all that fun stuff. For those of you who have not been here before, use the comment section. And welcome to what is going to be a very stacked night of poetry. What is going to happen is we have 8 poets that are hanging out in the backstage area, and they are going to compete in 3 rounds of head-to-head competitions for a chance to win $100 cash. So we will stack 2 poets against each other. Each of them will perform a poem. And then you, the audience, gets to vote for who wins that bout and moves on to the next round. The way we do that is we will drop a link in the comments section to a poll that you will go to and you will vote. Voting is only open for about a minute after both poets have performed, so you better get on it and let your voices be heard. I'm telling you, from all the slams that we've done over the past few months, it is usually down to less than 5 votes. That is the margin of difference. That is how good these poets are. So I am really excited to get things going. The only rule that we are carrying over from traditional slams is a time limit rule. But for the virtual slam, it is a 2-minute time limit. So poets will have 2 minutes and 10 seconds to perform. At 2 minutes and 10 seconds, their microphones will be muted. We don't do time penalties in this space. That is just it. And you got 2 minutes and 10 seconds of poetry. Okay? So let me put this dog down because she wants to go somewhere. And tell you who's competing tonight. Tonight, in no particular order, you are going to hear from, and please shout them out in the comments section if you are rooting for them. We got Kamady, we got Dny Strack, we got Steph Love, we got Miss Zany, we got Riri, Cassandra IsFree, Andy Markert, and Omer Ahmed. So I hope you guys are fans. I hope you're rooting for your friends. I hope you're ready to get things going, because I know my poets are ready to get things going. They are geared up. They are riled. They want $100 cash, right? But we need to warm y'all up, okay? This may be your first time joining us. Maybe you've never clicked on a poll before. Maybe you've never voted before. So we want to practice your voting buttons, make sure that you're able to access the links, and make sure that you're able to let your voices be heard, because you should always vote, people. That's my soapbox, and I'm sticking to it. So what we're going to do is have a sacrificial round for y'all. In the sacrificial round, we are going to show you videos of poems. However, all the poets that you will see tonight are performing live. So first up, in the sacrificial round, how do you vote? I am being asked again after both poets have performed. We're going to drop a link in the comments to a poll. You will click on the link, and then you will vote for who you think won that bout, okay? It'll all become very clear after the sacrificial round. It's real easy, people. Here we go. Coming up first, in the sacrificial round, y'all, if you know the poet, show some love in the comment section. It's ya!
Huh? What? Say that again. Can you say it slowly and enunciate? One more time. Bro, just spell it. Dude, are you even speaking English? So let me get this straight. My homebred, homemade Ghanaian accent is too foreign for your ethnocentric taste? You've been imitating Forrest Whitaker, talking about the king will now have the strength of the Blake Panther stripped away, but all of a sudden, you can navigate a conversation with me? Okay, I get it. We pronounce shit differently. You say evaporate, I say evaporates. You say hippopotamus, I say hippopotamus. I say inevitable, you say fuck. Some things are just hard to say. And it's not that I can't speak English. Clearly, I can. But every time I articulate for white American ears, I lose a portion of my ancestral will. If we're being real, I can't understand shit you say either. But I have learned to code switch for your convenience. This is how I survive. It is a tool meant to keep me safe in this country. I go back home occasionally to stay connected to my roots, but my family does not seem to recognize me. I like to think it's because I've been gone for too long, but the truth is, I have toyed with my West African accent so much that I have become invisible to my own people. And still, here in America, people hide behind their smiles, huffing and puffing about the way I sound, wondering if my accent is forged, if I tribal washed it to sound more African. You think this sexy, saucy, juiced, toned inflection can be distorted? My accent is the realest thing about me. It has more than survived, been burned alive, struggled its way through ice, yet still migrated, limped on every college sidewalk, but still graduated, joined speech and debate, traveled all over the country, slayed every single tournament. My accent falls in love in 5 different languages. Mindafo pabedaminchen. Entry, Banyoba Kaima say, Chalebe you, may can sleep madame, mon amour, viens dormir à côté de moi, my love, come sleep next to me. My accent is an open map full of endless possibilities. It is why when you speak, I try my hardest to listen, to understand, to taste the salt in your accent. So why do you refuse to taste the sweetness in mine?
Y'all, that was Ya kicking off the sacrificial round. And if you have joined in late, I'm going to encourage you guys to make sure that you click the live button and you're watching live, because voting only happens for a small amount of time right after both poets have gone. So make sure that you are watching live and you're not watching what happened 10 minutes ago so that you can vote. But next up in the sacrificial round, going against Ya, is going to be Melania Luisa.
One, when Tupac states, I swear I'll never call you bitch again, believe me, was he being honest? Does he reassure his girl that it was purely by mistake and not by intention? Did he reiterate that he sees her as more and not as less than, and for those exact reasons he takes back what he says? Does he reevaluate her role within the context of all the other important women in his life who play a major role in his flourishment and success? And all I'm saying is, I want someone to love me as much as rappers love calling women bitches and then later in life apologizing for it. 2, so when he calls you a bitch, don't blink. Don't fight, don't frown, don't excuse his poor use of language. Smile, smile, but don't blink. Say thank you. Say you are so sweet. Say you have all the women before you to thank. That you'd like to thank your mama. Tell him you have little boys like him to thank. Tell him being a bitch didn't come easy to you. Tell him you had to work at it. Tell him being a successful bitch takes a lot of effort. Let him know we bitches don't just wake up like this. 3, when I wake up drenched in sweat because I went to bed in lingerie and a fur coat, I am instantly reminded that life is not a raunchy music video and I am not a professional video thotty. I am not fried meat and I am not sweet candy. I am the survival of generations of women before me who did not have a fuck to give. They gave me life and hips and tits and advice. Advice that did not end in words like throw that ass in a circle. 4, for argument's sake, throw that ass in a circle. Become so engulfed in the way your body can move that you forget about how they try to marginalize your beauty or trivialize your proportions while in the same breath whitewash your culture. Remind yourself that you are built like a goddess and it's not their fault that they forgot how to worship. So take them to church, take them to the temple, show them a miracle, give them your salt. Tell them to come closer and get a taste. 5, last week I took myself to Red Lobster. 6, dating in 2017, be like, we not together, don't be blowing up my phone, but you're not messing with no one else, right? Not that I care, cause we not together. New phone, who this? Hey baby, can I waste your time? Old phone, who this? Text me, DM me, but whatever you do, don't call me. 7, last week I wrote an article called This Not You, Reverend Run. It's your ridiculously antiquated way of thinking. This and 29 other things wrong with men who like to give women advice about how to be a woman as if they had any fucking clue. 8, Mama forgot to warn me that we women are still objects of obsession. Still considered the fun sex. Still thick and sexy. Still exotic and tasty. Still meaty like meat. Like flesh. Like an open wound that won't heal. So ladies, When he tells you he can mend your scars, that he can remedy your broken heart, that he will build you up and not break you down, say no thank you. Remind him that we women, we got the skin made for war. Thank you.
All right. This is a victory. All right. So that was our sacrificial round. People. So now it is your chance to vote for who you think won that round. We have already dropped the link in the comments, okay? We've already dropped the link in the comments. We're going to, yes, I both hosted in the video and now. This is hysterical. Clearly, it's what I do. In any case, we're going to drop it again. We don't want it to get lost in the flood of comments, all right? But we are dropping the link in the chat. You have 1 minute to go vote for who you think won that round. Was it Ya who went first, or was it Melania Luisa who went second? Click on the link. Make sure you can access it. Vote for who you think won the sacrificial round. Y'all, let your voices be heard. It's the only way that you affect change is by speaking up and speaking out. So after you vote, then come back to the comment section and let us know who you voted for. Try and influence the other judges, which is the rest of the audience. Okay? So if you feel very passionately, Nancy is saying there is no link. We've dropped it a couple of times. Can other people access the link? What is happening here? Jennifer is voting for Ya. I'm assuming Jennifer voted. Donatella is voting for Melania. Let's throw it one more time. Let's just throw it in there. Yes, Day has voted. Okay, all right. The link is there, people. Don't let it get lost. You can see it. We see the link, says Day. Good. Make sure that if you're watching this on Facebook, make sure that the comments are like live or newest comments, something like that. I don't know, y'all. Facebook. We're on it right now, so I'm not going to talk about it. In any case, you've got 10 more seconds. This is the longest I'm going to give you all, by the way, okay? Today is a little longer than just a minute. 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Closing it. Done. All right. So, winning the sacrificial round by audience vote, Nancy finally found it. Good for you, Nancy. I'm excited. Melania Luisa is taking the sacrificial round. So now that you guys know how to vote, now that you have found the links, we're going to drop a link after every round. It's not the same link, okay? We're going to drop a link after every round. So it's a new link based on the poets that are competing in that round. Now that you guys know how this works, and now that you've practiced, now that you are ready for it, let's get real. Let's get into it. Here's the money round. Here we go. Money on the line, $100. Your first bout. The first poet competing in the first bout of round 1. Y'all show some love in the comments section for Dny Strack. Danny, where are you joining us from?
Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas, the heart of Texas. All right, Dny is going up against Cassandra IsFree. Cassandra, where are you joining us from?
Hey, good evening, everybody. I am joining you from Norfolk, Virginia.
Norfolk, Virginia. All right, Texas versus Virginia. So I'm going to go ahead and mute Cassandra, and that means Dny Strack. The stage is yours.
New shit. In mathematics, the set of all rational numbers is represented by a bold-faced capital letter Q. Meanwhile, in America, ironically, the set of all irrational people are also represented by the letter Q. All those non-critical thinkers who invaded the Capitol in January apparently genuinely believed Q's bold-faced lie that our country is secretly being run by a cult of satanic, cannibal, pedophiliac Democrats, and Trump was going to save us from them. Hearing about this for the first time was a lot like first learning about Scientology. I mean, who makes a more believable divine savior? Zany, overlord of the Galactic Confederacy, or our ex-president? All hail Zany. And I almost feel bad for people who believe this stuff. Most of them are just poorly educated and uninformed. Just because America's school system failed them, that doesn't make me hate them. More like pity and A wish they'd read a book instead of Twitter? Question: why is Q so popular on Twitter? Because Q is always followed by you. Q isn't just an omnipotent alien relentlessly trolling Picard on Star Trek The Next Generation to drive the overarching series plot anymore. Now he's also an anonymous idiot endlessly trolling half our previous generation to drive them crazy with conspiracy theories and plots. And old dudes who look like Picard are thirsty for conspiracies like their Earl Grey tea. But you know what's really crazy? There actually is a bunch of ultra-rich old white men who have been preying on young women this whole time. Just their cabal isn't so secret, and they haven't been hiding in the basements of pizza restaurants, but living large on yachts and chartering jets out to private island parties. And Trump was never going to save us from them. He was at the parties. He's one of them. Meanwhile, Q never cared about kids. If he did, he'd been against family separations on our southern border, and his followers would be retweeting Amber Alerts instead of thinly veiled white nationalism. Unfortunately, you can't argue with a clueless Q cock any more than a cuckoo clock. They're both just going to spout off nonsense about once an hour. You can't argue with irrational people any more than you can express an irrational number.
All right. That was Dny Strack bringing us some education, running up against that 2-minute time limit. But you got 2 minutes and 10 seconds of a great poem coming up against Dny Strack. Y'all make sure know it. If you were digging that, throw some purple hearts in the comment section. You know how it goes. You know what to do. Purple hearts for Dny Strack. Coming up next on the neon green side, Cassandra IsFree. The stage is.
Growing up, I used to play the dozens around the neighborhood. As a matter of fact, I played the dozens of times, everything from jokes about clothes and shoes to the darkness of my hue, but I always drew the line at your mama jokes. You know, your mama's so poor, people rob her house for practice. But see, the fact is we were poor. So this poem is an ode to old school mothers who made it work in the face of adversity. Now, my mother never really yelled. She's always been a threaten you through clenched teeth type of mother. The type to tell you beforehand that you better not ask for nothing in the store. Don't embarrass me in these streets. I'm not one of your little friends. The type where if the street lights beat you home, she was probably going to beat you a second time. And probably one of my favorite that you got McDonald's money type of mother. But what I didn't realize as a child was that she was preparing me for the world as an adult, that there were life lessons in her lectures, guidance in her groundings, salvation in her spankings. So this poem is an ode to old school mothers who impart wisdom unto children often too foolish to listen. Don't ask for nothing in the store because nothing in this world is free. Don't embarrass me because the caliber of your character is important. I'm not one of your little friends. Demand your respect. Beat the street lights home, otherwise those streets can and will beat you. And yes, my mother sometimes had McDonald's money, but she also had the sense to save it for rainy days. So this poem is an ode to old school mothers who teach street smarts and common sense as an accompaniment to the expected graduation. Now, I never quite figured out who Boo Boo the Fool is, but I knew it wasn't my mother. I knew she wasn't born yesterday, that I better know my schoolwork like I knew those songs. And I learned that as scientifically impossible as it may sound, talking back could get me knocked into next week. So I would watch my tone when I would speak. And y'all, my mama taught me about finances fast, like don't let your mouth write a check that your butt can't cash. So I was low-key impressed and terrified, which is probably why I drew the line at your mama jokes. So this poem is an ode to old school mothers who played no games when it came to raising us.
That was Cassandra IsFree, also hitting that 2-minute time limit. Y'all know the rules, but that's okay. Throw some green hearts in the comments section. If you were digging that poem, you got 2 minutes and 10 seconds of a great poem. So now, we've already dropped the link in the chat. Now it's your time to vote. You know what I love about hosting? I don't got to make these decisions. You do. So we're starting the time. We've dropped the link in the chat. We've dropped it now a second time. The chat, the comment section. Where am I? What platform am I on? So you need to make a decision. Who did you think took that round? Was it Dny Strack with an education in Q? Or was it Cassandra IsFree with an education from Mama? Okay? Both of these poets dropping mad wisdom. Both of these poets spitting incredible poems. You got to make a decision as to who you think is moving on to the next round. Not who you think, who you want to move on to the next round, because you get to make the decisions. You do, people. You do. It's all about you. You light up my life. You give me hope to poet on. You got 5 seconds, okay? You got a whole more 40 minutes of me, so I ain't gonna give you too much too quick off the bat. 5, 4. They both was good. I'm not voting, says Sun. That doesn't help anyone. It helps no one if you don't vote. The system collapses. Other people get what they want, and you get nothing. That was a very long second, because I feel very passionately about this issue. You should vote. 3, 2, 1. Okay, voting is closed, y'all. Voting is closed for this bout. Moving on to the second round, and a chance to win $100 cash is going to be Cassandra IsFree. Dny Strack, thank you so much for that incredible poem. Cassandra, you better get ready because you coming back for round 2. Okay, audience. Okay, let's keep it on because we got 6 more poets to hear from. So coming up next in bout 2 of round 1, y'all show some love in the comment section for Kamady. Where are you joining us from?
Senegal, West Africa.
Senegal, West Africa in the house, y'all. All right, Kamady, let's find out who we're going to be going up against. It's going to be Andy Markert. Andy, where are you joining us from?
Greensboro, Georgia.
Greensboro, Georgia. We are international tonight, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and mute Andy. That means Kamady. The stage is yours.
I told my mother I haven't been feeling well. She tries to convince me that my emotions are a side effect of my lack of faith. She tells me she invested too much money on Sunday school for me to forget my prayers. I want to tell her I haven't forgotten them. My tongue is too heavy with sins to even recite them. She still insists I call on my Lord. But instead, I call him, the man I've been seeing on and off, because he lives closer, he answers quicker, and though he has no answer, he knows my body. He knows which areas to spend the most time and which to leave alone. He knows not to ask how my day was, because that's not what he's here for. He knows if I arch my back, it means I like that. He's not like the last guy that tried to convince me that my black skin was God's way of telling me to remain silent. No, this one lets me moan. He lets me cry, and he never asks why. He knows I'm lost, so he knows his place. He never overstays his welcome. He knows when to pull out just in time. He knows as soon as I come, it's time for him to go. He rolls my lifeless body underneath the comforter, and just as he's about to kiss me goodbye, he remembers, never comfort her. So instead, he searches the bedroom floor to make sure he's leaving no strings behind, because he knows I can't afford to get attached. He knows I am a sinking ship with no lifeline to offer him. He knows it's best to love me in seasons, mainly winter. I have convinced him we color girls store heat between our thighs. Thank you.
That was Kamady coming through as the first poet in bout 2 of round 1 with what the audience is saying, fire, purple hearts. Okay, here we go. Coming up against Kamady. Andy Markert, the stage is yours.
Under the guidance of our better angels, you, in keeping with the madness, ignore the voices of grace, choose to leave unheard articulated suffering of the everyday, and numb with the opiates of our technology until it creates in you the absence of critical thought and deficit of your empathy. I loved you once in our finality, in the hard-packed truth of paper, fact, and science written in love note. I remember a time that I didn't need to be influenced by a picture of airbrushed better angles. I remember when being influenced by the quality of your mind, that influencer was a title of nobility given to a teacher and not the career of the beautiful. I remember when our stories had beginning, middle, end, climax, and redemption. not a tangled web of ugly reality that leveraged the suffering of the broken for the entertainment of the few. I remember when I love you carried sacred weight to be whispered as a prayer at the temple of your soul, and not the simple cartoon picture of a heart, scrawled in a message with text that has no feeling and carries no cost. As our world speeds up, car careening off the road, driving headlong toward a cliff edge that could just as well be our middle, just as it could be our end, I want to feel your hand in mine. Taste the sweetness of your lips. Find our place on the map in a world once again unafraid of touch. Once again free to float in the agonizing freefall of the moment. Thank you.
Y'all, that was Andy Markert coming through as second poet in bout 2 of round 1. We have already dropped the link in the comment section, so you need to go vote for who you think won that bout and should move on to the next round to face off against Cassandra IsFree. I've started the timer. Did you think that it was Kamady from Senegal, West Africa? Not synagogue, West Africa? My tequila tongue often trips. Sorry, people. Or Andy Markert. Andy Markert coming to you from Georgia, the state, not the country. One of these two poets is going to move on to the next bout, and you need to decide who that's going to be. I see Ollie voted. Yes, I absolutely agree with you, Aubriana. This is going to be hard. This is going to be hard. But one of these poets is moving on. Only one. And you have to decide. And you got about 15 more seconds to do it, people. So I hope you're voting. I hope you already voted. If you haven't voted yet, what are you waiting for? This is literally the definition of waiting until the last minute to vote. And then you know what happens? The polls get closed. And then you know what happens? You don't get to vote. And then you know what happens? Bad shit. Bad shit happens when you don't vote. All right, here we go. We're closing the polls in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, polls are closed. Polls are closed. One of these poets is moving on. The other poet just blessed us with amazing poetry, and we are eternally grateful. So, ooh, yeah. I see that. All right, moving on to the next round is going to be Andy, y'all. A big applause. Thank you so much, Kamady, for that incredible poem. You had me going, ooh, the entire time. So shout out to Kamady. Andy Markert, you better get ready. You coming back in the next round. Here we go. All right. Keeping the train rolling. Moving on. Coming up next in bout 3 of round 1. Over here. Representing the psychedelic purple side is going to be Steph Love. Steph Love. Where are you joining us from?
Beautiful Norfolk, Virginia.
Norfolk, Virginia. My goodness, that background looks familiar. Okay. And coming up against Steph Love is going to be Omer Ahmed. Omer with the fresh cut. Where are you joining us from?
Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas. Oh my God. Here we go. Texas versus Virginia one more time. Omer, I'm going to go ahead and mute you. Steph Love, that means the stage is yours.
How am I supposed to do the things I did yesterday when today just happened? And by today, I mean receiving news that someone I love is no longer here. And now shock has settled its dusty self on my shelf unit shoulders as the words of "he's gone" create a song I don't wish to learn the lyrics to. And now condolences are rolling in like old Mustangs. Everybody's racing to say, "I'm here for you. Let me know what I can do for you. I'm praying for you. You'll get through this. You are so strong." But where am I supposed to find strength in words with no action? Are you really praying for me? Or is that emoji just conveniently at your fingertips? Y'all got bodybuilder tongues dead set on lifting me up when I am dead weight. I don't know who needs to hear this, but there is nothing you can say that erases the pain of grieving. No prayer that'll make me feel comfort. But that's not to say I'm not grateful for everyone showing up like clockwork. But funny how clocks work when time stops for no one, because when the final moments of the funeral come and everybody's a magic trick waiting to happen, a good old-fashioned disappearing act after the repast, and that's when grief creeps in, snaking its way through the upcoming years, waiting for the perfect time to strike me, especially if it catches me smiling and trying to heal. Grief shows up like a moon, waning and waxing itself across my once starlit sky, but now a black hole of emotions, because nobody seems to understand unless they've been through it. Time is supposed to heal all wounds, right? So I should just be over it, right? You should know that I am still mourning, even though it's been over 2,000 mornings since I've said goodbye. So give me a break, because this morning feels like yesterday.
Yo, that was Steph Love on the psychedelic purple side, kicking off bout 3 of round 1. Show some love in the comments section if you were digging that poem. Coming up against Steph Love, Omer Ahmed on the neon green side. The stage is yours.
The following poem is written in the form of a persona book by Sheldon J. Plankton from SpongeBob SquarePants. Chapter 1, Microscopic. I do love myself on occasion. The way one loves carnivals, only once they forget, they never win the games and always go home empty-handed. 2, the recipe. I stole a recipe for joy once, firmly grasped it in my hands. You ever rob someone of their smile only to be devoid of one after? I've been cooking for all these years, but still ain't got the sauce. I'm still falling, so I haven't hit rock bottom, despite knowing it will always be my home. The thing about a recipe for joy is it only counts if you create your own. 3, Karen. I married a machine once. I built them on rusty parts and worked them overtime until their hardware overheated just so someone would finally melt for me. 4, N is for no survivors. Self-sabotage is my oldest friend. I've never known a moment they weren't present for me. I know aspirations the same way I know houseplants. I poise them all just by being present. Nothing grows here anymore. Not for me anyway. Nor should they. 5, secret ingredient. I learned I was the secret ingredient, and I can't help but to feel scared that I'll never be able to utilize myself the way others use me. Poem. Thank you.
Y'all, that was Omer Ahmed on the neon green side. Y'all show some love in the comment section if you were digging that poem, which means now that both poets have gone, time to vote, people. Link is dropped. Time has started. Early voting going on right now. You better get in during early voting time, because if you wait to the last minute, who knows how congested that bandwidth is going to be. So make sure you go vote now. Who do you think took that round? Was it Steph Love on the psychedelic purple side, or was it Omer Ahmed on the neon green side? What's going on, people? Let us know. Let us know. Who do you think won that round? Did you go vote? Self-sabotage is my earliest friend. Oh, bam, voted. Whoa, I'm not voting for this one. That was hard. Again, no one wins if you don't vote. Actually, the other side wins. That's what happens. Okay? I don't know who the other side is in this case, but go vote, people. Go vote. You gotta do it. All right? You just gotta let your voice be heard. Voting is hard sometimes. But in this case, you're voting between 2 incredible things versus usually voting between 2 lousy things and just having to pick the best of the 2 lousy things. These are 2 incredible things that you are voting between. Once again, Steph Love, Omer Ahmed, closed in 5, 4. No, you can't vote for both. 3, 2. I told you tonight was a night of fire matchups, people. 1. Okay, closed. Done. No more. No more. Moving on. The winner of bout 3 and moving on to round 2 is Omer Ahmed. Steph Love, thank you so much for that incredible poem. Omer, get ready. We'll see you next round. Boom. Okay, people. 3 bouts down, 1 to go in round 1. Kicking off bout 4 of round 1. Y'all show some love in the comment section for Miss Zany.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, where are you joining us from, Miss Zany?
I am joining her. I'm here in Austin, Texas.
Okay, Austin, Texas back in the house and kicking and going up against Miss Zany is going to be Riri. Riri, where are you joining us from?
Hey, I'm making it international also by being in the UK.
In the UK, this is international. So I'm going to go ahead and mute Riri. Miss Zany, that means the stage is yours.
I remember chanting for change. In order to rearrange the shit that was coming from left to right, sometimes out of sight, and I tried with all of my might to adapt. Adapt to the disrespect, adapt to the incorrect, adapt to the misconcept until I broke down and wept, shouting, "Why in the hell is this happening to me?" The universe replies, "Don't you see, sweetie, life is shifty. If you're not present or mindful when the veil lifts, you'll be stuck with shitty thoughts, words, and deeds until you beg and plead again, holding out your hand for change. It doesn't grow on trees. It can flow with ease. Don't get on those knees to say pretty please. Change comes suddenly or ever so swiftly. Yet if you picked me, I promise I would see. Be careful what you chant for. If you're not centered when chanting for more, it'll greet you with a smack before you leave that front door."
Yo, Miss Zany on the psychedelic purple side, kicking off the last bout of round one with an incredible poem. Show some love in the comment section if you were feeling that. Up against Miss Zany, head to head on the neon green side. Riri, the stage is yours.
You really should have been castrated at birth. Despite what you put me through, I still know my worth. You hide behind an excuse for the abuse, blaming it on being schizophrenic. And yet 10 years on them, it's been 7 months for me now without an antipsychotic. You go by many a nickname like Bear, Animal, or Duke, but much like the Eminem song, every time I think of you, I puke. And I'm sorry, Mama, I never meant to hurt you, but you could have prevented everything that your kids went through. 7 months off the meds, 6 months in therapy, but 17 months since my baby girl was taken from me. Deemed too damaged to be a good mum permanently, and now as I approach 30, I just want to look in the mirror and be okay with what I see. Different internal dialogues undoubtedly, but much like Maya Angelou, I often sung of wanting to be free. Not being trapped inside the prison that is my mind, after you taught me so young that the world can be so unkind. Daily, I will never, ever say sorry for never, ever breaking and becoming the racist homophobe that you wanted me to be. No, I was never going to be anything like what he wanted. Over 20 years of trauma, all spent wishing I wasn't his kid. Imagine having your child be afraid of being bisexual because it would make you mad. Yeah, you may go by many a different name, but never again will I call you Dad.
Y'all, that was Riri with a fire poem on the neon green side. Y'all show some love in the comments section, but also get ready because it's voting time. Y'all, they really should not have hired me for this job because I am really passionate about voting. All right, let's see. We're dropping that link in the comment section in 5, 4, 3, 2, level up. 1, question mark. Link in the comment section. It's coming. It's there. Okay. I don't start the timer until, it's fair to start the timer. So timer is started. Boom. You have 1 minute. Early voting happening now. Okay. Now it's the last day of early voting. Okay. Now it's election day. What are you waiting for? Go. Vote. Who did you think won that bout? Was it Miss Zany on the psychedelic purple side? Or was it Riri on the neon green side? Who's moving on to face off against Omer in the next round for a chance to win $100? You guys are the ones. Woo! Ollie voted. Okay, here we go. Boom. Yes. Anybody else? Let me know. Have you voted? What are you waiting for? I'm telling you, people, like, these bouts are really close. Some of the last few have been by like 2 votes. So what are you waiting for? Get on out there. Because you only got 5 seconds left to vote for this bout. It's the last bout in round 1. 5, 4, 3 turtle doves. Is it 3 turtle doves? I don't know. 2 French hens. And a poet in a pear tree. It's closed. Okay, that's it. We're closing the polls. Closing the polls. Moving on to round 2 to compete against Omer is going to be one of these 2 amazing poets that I'm going to tell you. It's going to be Riri. It's going to be May. No, it's going to be Riri. Miss Zany, thank you so much for that incredible poem. Riri, get ready because you're coming back in round 2. Whoop! Okay. While these poets get ready for round 2, I've been watching the comment section, obviously. I've seen some questions come through, people being like, wait a second, I want to read. I have poetry. I want to share. I want $100. I get that feeling, people. I understand. So if you are out there and you want a chance to compete in one of our virtual slams, all you got to do is become a active supporter of Right About Now. And the way you do that is you go to the Right About Now Facebook page, facebook.com/WAN Poetry. And you click on the little blue button that says Become a Supporter. It's $4.99 a month. I believe there's a free trial. I don't know how Facebook works. I believe there's a free trial, so you can check it out. You will have access to compete in the virtual slams. You have access to perform on the virtual open mics. We have a weekly writing session on Sundays called Write and Chill. You also, if you live in the Houston area, get discounts to the live shows. You get to watch the live streams when those come back. There's so much that you get for only $5 a month. And you know what? If you compete in the virtual slam and you win, your subscription is essentially paid for. What other subscription service pays you to be a member? None of them. All right. So if you want to be part of this family, facebook.com/WAM Poetry, become a supporter for only $4.99 a month. And then you get access to all these incredible things that we are doing, not just in person, but also virtually. Because if there's one thing the pandemic taught us is accessibility be a thing. So we're trying to make sure that people from all across the world have access to incredible poetry and incredible writing prompts. Thank you to everyone that is already a supporter. Some of these people that are competing tonight have won like 3 years worth of subscriptions just from these slams. You may want to consider. In any case, moving on to round 2. Audience, how are you doing? Audience, let me check it with the audience. Are you feeling me? Yes, access the world, says Karen. You all still with me? You enjoying? What do you think of the poetry so far? I've seen a lot of love, but I want to hear from the audience. I'm looking at the comment section. Someone tell me you're still with me and want more poetry. Fine. Don't tell me. Ignore me. No big deal. You're going to get more poetry anyway. Coming up first in bout 1 of round 2 on the psychedelic purple side is going to be Cassandra IsFree. Welcome back, Cassandra. All right. And that means going up against Cassandra is going to be Andy Markert on the neon green side. Here we go. Once again, I feel like I'm having deja vu. All right. So, heads. It's a smaller coin than usual. I'm not in my home. Heads means psychedelic purple goes first. Tails means neon green goes first. Flip, catch, boom. What is that? Tails. All right. Cassandra IsFree. You are muted. Andy Markert. You are not.
Upon leaving the asylum where Van Gogh the painter spent his final days, his doctor wrote one word in his notes regarding Vincent: recovery. Months later, Vincent van Gogh killed himself. I, too, know what it means to walk through a space healed with turmoil boiling on the inside. I, too, know what it means to be eaten alive from within behind a smile. I, too, know how to convince you I am calm when on the inside I am screaming. The best mask I ever worn was the word okay. The best lie I've ever told is the word fine. The best goodbye I've ever whispered is hello. The difference between Vincent and I is I have held the gun and not used it. Vincent van Gogh was the most prolific in the last 10 years of his life. Between his drawings and his paintings, he averaged one piece every 3 days. I know what it is to want to escape into creation, to wish so hard to be anything else but this, to want so hard for a world that will never be yours. I've still got both my ears, but I'm missing chunks of my soul I carved away for less. Perhaps that's why there's always another poem. I've got to find new instruments to cut this pain to pieces, no matter how rusted. I've got to keep sketching my hopes into your faces. I've got to keep speaking my dreams till I'm hoarse from colors only I can see. That is the essence of each poem, a cry for survival. I'll write the swirls into my own starry sky. I'll keep painting the same vase of sunflowers with words as I write my love into every page as though it was paint on canvas. I am not a madman. Neither was Vincent. Thank you.
Yo, that was Andy Markert kicking off round 2, about one of round 2, with an incredible poem. Y'all, neon green hearts in the comment section if you were digging that. Coming up against Andy on the psychedelic purple side, Cassandra IsFree. The stage is yours.
For the people who say I don't look like what I'm going through, I guess I should say thank you. But pain sometimes makes it hard to speak. See, it's the chronic pain for me. Nights where I can't sleep, can't breathe, can't eat, because food always triggers it. Triggers more than people who say I don't look sick and so I must be okay. But they just don't see what it's doing to me, because pain isn't always tangible. You can't hold it the way it holds you. And it's not loosening its grip up. So there's days where I don't even want to get up. Days when the only thing worse than the pain would be not feeling anything. Times when it's so crippling, the thought of my life ending don't actually sound all that bad, because it's the chronic pain for me. Waking up in agony, aches that linger like an unwanted house guest in my body, once my temple, now crucifying me daily until I've become a living sacrifice, feeling forsaken. So when people say I don't look like what I'm going through, I cringe, because they act like you can't be both beautiful and broken. It's the chronic pain for me. See, invisible and imaginary are not the same thing, because even on the days where it doesn't hurt, anxiety stays up to remind me the pain is going to return. So I wait for it, staring out the window like Seeley, looking for Mister, waiting for signs that it's about to hit, because it's the chronic pain for me. Sometimes it takes an extra hour, day, week to get me started. Don't get me started when I say the struggle is real, because it's the real struggle to exist. Chronic illness, no cure, just ways to manage it while trying to manage the damage it brings. But how do you manage when the only thing that helps chronic is chronic? Because my job is zero tolerance, and if I lose it, I wouldn't have the bread and butter for the butter anyway. See, it's the chronic pain for me. So please don't say I don't look like what I'm going through. It feels more insinuation than compliment, more accuser than optimist. I wish I was optimist so I could transform people's way of seeing an invisible illness. Say it's supposed to make us stronger because it ain't kill us, when that just weakens the spirit. And this ain't a pity party, just wish things were different, like letting how someone looks decide if you believe their condition. So for the people who say I don't look like what I'm going through, thank you.
Y'all, that was Cassandra IsFree on the psychedelic purple side, hitting us with a dope poem. Show some love in the comment section if that was resonating with you. But before you do, we've already dropped the link. We on top of that shit. We've dropped it again. So make sure you go vote for who you think won that bout. Who is moving on to the final round? Sorry, people, this is the first time that I have a swivelly chair that I'm hosting from, and I am taking full advantage of it. Okay, who are you voting for in that round? Who is moving on to the money round? Did you think it was Andy Markert on the neon green side, or was it Cassandra IsFree on the psychedelic purple side. I'm running out of noises to make. I'm really sorry. I apologize for what is happening right now. I don't apologize for forcing y'all to make a decision, okay? Yes, this is getting difficult to choose. You know why? Because both of these poets won their first round. So now they are clearly, you know, it just gets harder and harder as the night goes on, is what I'm saying. So figure it out, sort that shit, talk to your therapist tomorrow about what you're going through. But tonight, make a fucking decision and let us know who won that bout. You got 5 seconds. 5, 4. Because I'm being encouraged by Karen, I'm going to sing these last 3 numbers. 3, 2, 1. Polls are closed, people. Polls are closed. That means moving. Good. Can we normalize therapy? Thank you. All right. That's the number one thing I miss about having insurance is my sessions with Linda. God bless Linda. Okay, moving on to the next round. And a chance to win $100 cash prize. Y'all make some noise for Cassandra IsFree. Andy Markert, thank you so much for that incredible poem. Cassandra, go get ready. Here we go. Final bout of round 2. One of these poets is going to move on to the money round to go up against Cassandra IsFree. Will it be on the psychedelic purple side, Omer Ahmed? Or will it be on the neon green side, Riri? So here we go. Coin flip one more time. Heads, psychedelic purple goes first. Tails, neon green goes first. Flip, catch, land. That's a heads. That's a heads, people. So, Omer Ahmed, that means the stage is yours.
A persona poem written in the form of a book by Sheldon J.P. from SpongeBob Part 2. Chapter 6, School of Trash. When I say I am from a big family, I am saying that I cannot unlearn generational trauma faster than we create it. 7, quarantine. What good are my antennae if I still feel so disconnected? 8, Goo Lagoon. If you were ever wondering how there is a beach underwater, it is because Goo Lagoon is made of sea brine, a high salinity substance that sinks to the ocean floor. If you were ever wondering why I always shrink back inside myself, know that I was also the salt of earth before I was called scum. Salty spittoon. 7. Yeah, I'm tough. I might not have muscles on my muscles or muscles on my eyeballs, but I got a therapist today, and ain't no one in this world has ever beaten me but me. And with therapy, I'll put an end to that too. 8, Weenie Hut Jr. I crave one day to be soft enough. Delicate as I might be, I am still glass, equal parts sharp and fragile. In another life, let me be a sponge, with a shoulder just as soft as it is strong, so that anyone can cry on it. Let my tongue still be glass, so that I can be transparent when I say I love you. Swiss cheese. Megan Thee Stallion said, if he eats my ass, he is a bottom feeder. I just want y'all all to know the coolest people eat here at Bikini Bottom. 10, microscopic 2. Every day I wake up resentful of how microscopic I am to myself. I hope to one day see myself as anything other than a chum bucket. I hope to one day see myself and like what I see. I'm only ever as large as my will to live. Thank you.
Yo, Omer Ahmed with a poem on the psychedelic purple side. Y'all know what to do in the comments section. I'm sensing a theme here. Okay. Coming up against Omer on the neon green side. Riri, get yourself together because the stage is yours.
Am I unfixable? A question I lately have asked myself daily. Approaching 30, I found myself pondering death almost daily. My earliest memory is the traumatic one, and that continued daily. See, I wasn't of age the first time my body was touched daily. Just about old enough to be spelling consent, but the rapes, they happened daily. Kind of kept in the family until habits and siblings needed feeding daily. Told to keep quiet because it would just rip the family apart daily. More and more bruises combined with more and more excuses daily. Turning school age, having a teacher do the same shit, only school daily. Going into foster care, being told no one would believe me anyway, daily. Being 13 and reminded I'm just another slut in the system, daily. Running away because too many people look the other way, daily. Told it's just a part of life, daily. Told to just get over it, daily. All of that and more had me thinking of being under a train, daily. I was done being treated like a child but fucked like an adult, daily. Seeking solace in libraries to take breaks from being on my knees, daily. Long shirts in the summer to hide the fresh cuts and burns, daily. Short skirts, no underwear at night because bills, they had to get paid, daily. I think back to the times when people had tried to kill me, daily, and I find myself wishing they were successful almost daily. Pushed from pillar to post, over 35 foster placements, it felt like I was moving daily. 28 years of damage done, but in therapy I'm reminded to try and take things daily. 3 years ago I wanted a new start, so I created my own family, and for 9 months I was sick daily. 1st of November 2018, I gave birth finally. After 5 miscarriages, I felt so incredibly lucky daily. But not 2 weeks later, social services took her and I was only allowed supervised visits daily. Despite not being a witch for over a year, I was trialed and tested daily, eventually deemed too damaged to be a good mum daily. So 2021, I'm childless with more memories, refusing to be exiled from my brain daily. It's okay not to be okay is a fucking lie. But when I'm 40, I hope to no longer be suicidal and sad daily.
That was Riri literally sliding underneath that time limit, like so close, but got it in there with what could potentially sounds like a great hustle. So here we go, poetry, forms, all of that fun stuff. We've already dropped the link in the comments section, people. So now it's your turn. Your turn to vote for who is moving on to the money round against Cassandra IsFree. Is it going to be the psychedelic purple side? Omer. Is it going to be the neon green side? Riri. Who's moving on? I'm seeing this. Oh, you both move me so hard. Yes, I see it. All of it. All the comments coming through. That's right. We're never going to think of Bikini Bottom the same again. That's happening. Yes, girl, says Mary. Okay. Y'all, your timer has started. Early voting is over. It is now election day. Okay? It's happening. And if you are still waiting, what's wrong with you? Okay? You don't even have to catch an Uber. You got no risk of being fined for providing other voters with water. You just get to vote freely without any persecution. When does that happen? Right now. It's happening right now. Come on, people. Come on, people. Let's do this. All right. I see some purple hearts. I see some green hearts. I see some confused hearts. All right. Here we go. It's going to be close, people. I'm telling you, the last round or one of the previous rounds, I think it was a 2-vote difference. So I hope you're doing it because it's that close. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, that's it. We're closing the polls. Polls are closed. Election day is officially over. If you are Arizona, we'll get back to you with the results in 3 weeks. But moving on to the final round to face off against Cassandra IsFree is going to be Riri. Shout out to Omer for that incredible 2-part poem. And that means, Riri, you better get ready because you coming back in just a moment. All right, get yourself together. Okay, here we go. I love seeing the poets' mouths moves like they're trying to have a conversation with me, but like y'all are muted. Sorry, not sorry. Here we go, people. All right, in just a moment, we're gonna bring on. I'm giving them a second. In just a moment, we are gonna bring on our final 2 poets that are gonna compete for a chance to win $100. Okay, this is big. So I hope you are watching this live. If you tuned in late, You might be behind the live stream. So I'm giving you a second or two to click that button that updates it to whatever's happening live so that you're watching live and so that your vote counts. Ooh, so ready, says Mary. Bring it. Difficult rounds. I get it, Karen. And it's about to get even more difficult. And once again, if you want to be a part of this, all you got to do is be a supporter of Right About Now on Facebook, WAN Poetry. Click the blue button. Be a supporter. It's the best decision you'll make this year. That and getting vaccinated. It's that important. Okay. I think that's enough time. I think these poets are ready. Let's do this, people. Coming up on the psychedelic purple side, once again, Cassandra IsFree. Welcome back. And on the neon green side, Riri. Okay. Coin flip. You all know how it goes. Heads. Psychedelic purple goes first. Tails. Neon green goes first. Flip. Catch. Land. It is tails. So, Riri.
No!
Yes. I'm not gone yet, so I won't start your time. But that means here it is. Final bout. Final round. $100 on the line. Riri, the stage is.
See, me, I'm a product of piss poor parenting. And even as I say that, I feel a little bit of a sing. I'm about to be a mum, petrified I'll perpetuate the cycle and make the same mistakes. I try and tell myself I'll be the opposite and give my child a good life, no matter what it takes. See, I grew up split between two parents using children as weapons, like your dad's a violent prick and your mom's an abusive whore. Combined with my uncle doing things he shouldn't with his underage niece, I just couldn't take it anymore. 12 years old, we've moved more times than a dance crew in a 10-minute routine. 12 years old, no longer a child, I'm rebellious acting out and being obscene. Feeling like I was twice my age led to my second suicide attempt, aged just 13. Being treated like a child, but feeling like an adult from just the things that I'd seen. So 13, I wound up in foster care. And fuck me, I wish I'd stayed there. But the feeling of not belonging led me to so often succumb to the stupid feeling that I'm better off with my real dad and mom. My mother recently, she said insultingly mid-argument, "You need professional help," and choking back tears. I said, "I know I do." The game of top trumps continues, and I interrupt her tirade abuse to simply say, "Half of my problems are down to you." She hung up, and so my paranoia grows, because we all know how that old saying goes, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and it's left me scared shitless that my child will turn out like me. But by now, I'm accustomed to the fact that my mother and father are never likely to win Parent of the Year, both of them pros at psychological warfare and parenting with fear. Now I'm feeling like a ticking time bomb. 7 months left to fix my mind, begging and pleading right before professionals' eyes, but they may as well be blind. I sit here trying to plan a future for my child, my family, but I find myself bitter and filled with rage. And I'll always reference Maya Angelou because I've always sung from a locked cage. Feeling like a prisoner trapped between the horrors at home and going to school wanting to learn but being bullied. So I so often sang of the simple things, wanting normality and from my chaos-filled cage to be freed. They say that suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. But that's the problem. I've never just had one problem. And I don't think I ever will. It's
All right, that was Riri with the her final poem of the night, coming up against that 2-minute and 10-second time limit. But you got 2 minutes and 10 seconds of a great poem. So coming up against Riri on the psychedelic purple side, Cassandra IsFree. Stage is yours.
I used to worry about slamming with poems about being Black, performing poems about my melanin, scared they would say this brown skin was a prop, this mahogany with a hint of mocha caramel mixed skin. I worry because they say we can't use props when we slam, and the rules state that a prop is something I have that not everyone else does. And the truth is that not everyone has this melanin, this brown skin, this mahogany with a hint of mocha caramel mixed skin. And so I wondered if I perform a poem about the beauty of my blackberry and its sweet juice, and I reference the skin I'm in, if I'm breaking a rule rule doing something wrong, because the world tends to make it seem like being Black is against the rules, that an increase in melanin means I'm more of a menace than a miracle. They throw grenade at our shade like being Black ain't been the bomb. Tell us that being poor, broken is hereditary, that our genetics predispose us to be criminals, that we're derelicts, so they think that's what we became, that we're poor, so financially ignorant is how we'll remain, that we're only destined to be single mothers and imprisoned fathers. They act like Black ain't beautiful, like dark ain't delicious, like onyx ain't outstanding, like ebony ain't elegant. Told us our brown skin equates to 3/5 of white men, like we aren't fully capable and wholly able of building nations on broken backs, like Black and brown didn't bleed red so blue bloods could prosper. Please, I am proud to be Black in the ancestry that runs through me. So if performing a poem about being Black while displaying this melanin, this brown skin, this mahogany with a hint of mocha caramel mixed skin, if it causes me to lose points with society, if they say it disqualifies me, that's fine, because this brown skin doesn't need a grace period or a score. It's already a 10.
Yo, that was Cassandra IsFree on the psychedelic purple side, spitting the last poem of tonight's competition. So that means it's now your turn to make the final decision of the night. We have already dropped the link in the chat. Y'all need to go vote for who you think won that round, okay? And my co-host Xochitl is gonna ask you the question. Who do you think won that round? Was it Fuchum, Riri on the neon green side, or Fuzam, Cassandra on the psychedelic purple side? Who is walking away with some cash money tonight? Who is gonna do it, people? I need you to go vote. This is probably the most important decision you will make in the next 3 minutes. So make sure that you do that. All right. Yes, the co-host always wins. It is definitely the puppy's night. Every night the puppy is involved. But the puppy can't win $100. Or even if the puppy did win $100, the puppy wouldn't know what to do with it. I'm pretty sure these two poets know what to do with $100. So one of these poets is walking away with money. You need to decide that. You need to vote. You need to stop crying. Poor thing. Just wants attention. In any case, I'm giving you an extra 10 seconds. Because it's the last one. It's the hardest one. Ollie voted. And you know what? I don't even have to guess who Ollie voted for, because Ollie has been a stan all night long. All right? Letting that voice be heard, people. Letting that voice be heard. Dave throwing some purple hearts. Come on now. 10 seconds. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. I'm counting down. That's right. I am counting down. And that link is in the chat. And if you are still waiting to vote, you're a bad person. I'm sorry. I didn't say that. 3, 2. First time here. Love it. Love you. Did you vote, though? Did you vote? 1. Gonna shut the polls down. Yeah. Oh, okay, that's it. That's enough voting, people. That's it. We did it. We did it. Can't look, all right? Can't look no more. Can't vote no more. Hope you did it, because the results are gonna be in. And one of these poets is walking away with $100 cash, and we're about to find out who it is. Whoop, let me scoot over. Foot. Winner of tonight, Cassandra IsFree. Shout out to Riri for 3 rounds of incredible poems. Thank you so much for that, Cassandra. You have won yet again for what I believe is the 3rd time. What you got to say for your amazing self?
It's the 3-piece. Steph told me that if I didn't win, she was going to beat me. So I didn't want to get beaten. So
I'm not gonna jump on camera.
that's me. But no, everybody was amazing. I'm always gonna give props, and y'all know that. I'm always gonna give props to all of the other slammers. I'm definitely proud. I'm proud of Rihanna for making it to round 3 because I know that's a dope experience, and I'm proud that she kept pressing. Always my dude Andy, because Andy is always like everything to me. So definitely it was a dope experience tonight. Shout out to everybody that performed. And Omer, Steph says she wants an anthology of your SpongeBob set. She wants to read all of it.
Yes. So
that was dope. That was super dope. So thank everybody, the audience, everybody. I love y'all.
Coming soon. And also, it seems you've got a challenge. Mary Shakespeare wants to challenge. We'll see what happens in the future. But shout out to you, Cassandra. I just did the math.
Said I ain't never scared. That's facts.
Hey, I just did the math in my head. You've basically won 5 years worth of memberships to Right About Now. So shout outs to you. Congratulations. Y'all show some love in the comment section. Cassandra IsFree. Cassandra is free and Cassandra is rich. Okay. All right, people. That's it. That's the end of another virtual slam. And like I just said, she has been competing. She won 5 years worth of memberships. Okay. So if you want to get on this virtual stage, on this virtual platform, you want access to these slams, to our writing sessions, all of the incredible work that Right About Now is doing, go to facebook.com/WAN Poetry, click on the blue button, become a supporter. I think there's a free trial. There's probably a free trial. In any case, it's only $4.99 a month. You know what? I can't think of something that gives you more for so little. So hope to see you here. Hope to see you there. Shout out to all the incredible poets. One more time, Dny Strack, Cassandra, Kamady, Andy Markert, Steph Love, Omer, Miss Zany, and Riri. Shout out to our technical crew in the back, Amir and Danny holding it down. Shout out to you, the audience, for tuning in, showing love, letting your voices be heard, and voting all night long. We will be back. We are here with the Virtual Slam every second and fourth Monday. We are moving forward. If you're in the Houston area, however, if you are in the Houston area and ready to get back to poetry in person next Wednesday, August 4th, will be Right About Now's first live poetry event, Right About Now's first live poetry event back at the home venue of Avant Garden here in Houston, Texas. You can find out all by following WAN Poetry on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and everywhere else. TikTok, too. I don't get the TikTok. I'm too old for TikTok. In any case, until next time, people, y'all stay safe out there. Keep wearing your masks. I believe in you. We're going to get through this. Good night.